Democrats' Mike Pence. It's the first time a vice president has had to break a tie over a cabinet nominee. And the pick for Attorney General Jeff Sessions also finally made the cut. His top critic, Democrat Elizabeth Warren, was silenced in the Senate, so she amplified her message on Facebook with a reading from the Senate corridor, a letter written by Coretta Scott King opposing a judicial appointment for Mr. Sessions back in 1986.
Mr. Sessions has used the awesome power of his office to chill the free exercise of the vote by black citizens in the district he now seeks to serve as a federal judge. This simply cannot be allowed to happen.
In yet more battles, Mr. Trump used the White House Twitter account to attack a retailer for dropping his daughter's fashion label, raising questions about possible conflicts of interest, not only for him, but for his advisor, Kellyanne Conway, who went a bit too far in her defense of Ivanka in an interview with Fox News.
They're using her, who's been a champion for women empowerment, sure, women in the workplace, to get to him. So I think people can see through that.
30
Go
seconds.
buy Ivanka's stuff is what I would tell you. I hate shopping. I'm going to go get some on myself today.
The one person who seemed to be having a good time was, yes, the former president, Barack Obama. He was filmed learning to kite surf in the Caribbean with the billionaire Richard Branson. A big grin, not a care in the world, far away from Washington in every way.
Thanks very much, Barbara. So if I would just like to ask you to sort of summarise the change this week, how would you do that?
I think on the domestic front, this escalation with the courts is interesting. Mr. Trump, his predecessors have had problems with the courts, but he seems to be close to stepping on the separation of powers, which is at the heart of American democracy. So that seems to me to be an escalation. In terms of foreign policy, I think after every election, there's a difference between campaign rhetoric and, the geopolitical realities of the office. He seems to be coming more towards the former than the latter, although his positions were so extreme often during the election campaign that the backtracking or the rolling back seems to be that much more observed.
OK, thanks very much, Barbara. No doubt we'll hear another summary next week. Thanks for that. And just picking up on what you're saying there about foreign policy and these big shifts, here are some examples. Jerusalem. In the campaign, the US will recognise Jerusalem as the undivided capital of the State of Israel. Today, I'm learning the issue and we'll see what happens. It's not an easy decision. China, before he was in power. I fully understand the one China policy, but I don't know why we have to be bound by a one China policy unless we make a deal with China. Today, President Trump honours the one China policy. Japan, in the campaign. If the US is attacked, all Japan would do is sit home and watch Sony TV. Now, the bond between our two nations and the friendship between our two peoples runs very, very deep. The taming of Trump? I spoke to Daniel Benjamin, Director of International Affairs Centre at Dartmouth College, and he was in charge of counterterrorism at Hillary Clinton's State Department. And first, Jan Halper-Hayes, who was part of the Trump transition team. Is she feeling a bit shortchanged with all these changes?
No, not at all. It's really a shame that I think the media in total gave Donald Trump 5 minutes of a honeymoon. And I wish that we would just step back and see how things unfold. When it came to Taiwan, what probably a lot of people are not aware of is that in the Republican platform, because for 2 years prior with the Republican National Committee, the RNC, there were 3 resolutions passed to support Taiwan and for it to gain freedom. Reince Priebus is the one that set up that call to happen. Now, Trump, in his negotiations, because he said, unless we make a deal, I'm not going to give in. So what he did was he put something out there so he could save the Chinese face when he pulled back.
But he gave in. He just gave in.
No, but see, that's the way it's been reported, but he didn't just give in because we don't know what the agreement was in the phone conversation. Donald Trump would have not just given in.
OK, a secret deal, maybe. Let's go to Daniel Benjamin. What do you think on that one China policy in particular?
Well, I think that President Trump is finding, like so many others have found before, that no plan survives contact with reality, never mind the enemy. And that he is embattled on so many different fronts that he needs to focus on a few issues where he wants to make dramatic advances.